The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Friday, the 28th day of April, 2023. Welcome to, it's the 700th episode of Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medicals, and Lindos. I'm Jamal Hartman. She's Sherry Vanderpool. And Tamara McHale will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Sister Sherry, how are you on your favorite day of the week? Let me bring my chair.
I was gonna say you looked a little short, but I didn't want to. I wasn't sure, like, if I should even say that.
It's too early. Too early.
I did. I was like, Jamal looks a little short, but Sherry, it's Friday. Don't be rude. You know,
it's
try to keep
that making you look taller than me. That's what it is.
Let me come down just a little.
No, I don't need to do anything. Look,
I'll come down to your height. It's fine.
Taller than you anyway. We've been through there. Thank you.
I love Friday. I've had a great week. Remember, I have host guests, so they're here for a couple more days. Well, no, you're just mad that I haven't invited you, but you know, it's a difference.
I'm just showing up, Sherry. You ain't gotta invite me.
You're probably right, Jamel.
In the house, Jake, dog, I'm coming through. All right, bro.
Now I'll be on the camera looking like, I don't know him.
Yeah, you'd be a Karen. You'd be a Karen. Yeah. Yeah, she'd be a Karen on me, folks. But anyway, so what you got planned for the weekend?
Tonight we're going out to dinner. Saturday I'm just gonna be relaxing, and then Sunday I actually have a work function.
That don't sound like you. I don't think you know how to relax on the weekend, Sherry.
No, I am this time. My guest.
Nope, don't know how to do it.
That's you, Jamal.
No, not at all. Tanya Cheeseman says, morning, Jamel and Sherry. It's Friday. Sean DeShield says, great way to start the show with a short joke, Sherry.
Thank you, Sean.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm taller down about whatever, if that makes her feel better. Hey, folks, this is our 700th episode. Since it's 700, Sherry, I'm going to have one of my, you see what it says? See what it says?
So, Fox Mosa. Fomosa.
It's so silly. Yeah, it's a
no, I had a friend that said Fox Fur. I was like, what is Fox Fur?
Oh man, I'm just tuned in. I didn't say anything about you earlier, Sandra. That was old Sherry. I didn't say nothing about it this one, did I?
No, not at all. None of us did.
Okay. So this is cranberry with hibiscus and ginger. So this is we're gonna toast. What you got in your glass? Everybody, glasses up. We're toasting 700 episodes. 700 episodes. Glasses up.
Yes.
Pour.
Jamal has juice. I have coffee.
I said I have a Formosa. Thank you. It's a Formosa.
It's a Fox Mosa.
Folks, we're going up 700 episodes of the Daily Hour, and
congrats, Jamal. You know, that's all you. You know, I know it's a collaborative thing, but I mean, hey, you started this, Jamal. I'm actually going to have a moment right now and just give you your flowers. 700 episode. This is a great platform that you have built in this media space, and we greatly appreciate you. Now, I thought we wouldn't get to 700 because it was a lot of times I thought I was gonna have to put up bail money and all types of stuff and call off the goons but you made it.
Yeah.
Jamal, you made it. And so seriously, I really appreciate you and this, so proud of you.
Well,
This
no,
is being recorded, right?
I say this and I mean this, but it's really I'll be honest with you. Some days of the past, I just wake up and don't want to do it because it's a lot to take on. You know, I'll always remember that conversation. I was working Bermuda tourism and I came back to Bermuda to visit, and my mama was like, we listened to the radio. It must have been like Sherry J, somebody on, and she's like, "You don't miss this?" I said, "No," and she said, "Why?" And I said, "Because taking on everyone else's problems when you got to deal with your own is tough, and that's what talk is. That's what talk radio is about. That's what talk show is about. You literally are taking on other things. People, the expectations people have of you to ask these questions because they're afraid to. The expectations people have of you to talk about these things because they don't want to or that they're afraid, and it's a lot of expectations. As you can probably tell, I don't really try to take on the expectations. I don't really um, answer to the expectations of people who are afraid to do that. The expectations I answer to are the people I work with and the people who support this show, who engage on this show. And I am grateful because without you guys to debate with, to fight with, to have conversations with, to solve problems with, and when I say you guys, not just the host, but the audience. I mean, you all make this show worth doing. You're the thinkers. You're the ones that help facilitate conversations like what we have today. And I think what I see most right now today, Sherry, is the value of the balance that you bring with me. People just don't understand our dynamic. Like if they saw the way we chatted on the side, they would really think like what we were brought up as brother and sister and hate each other. Sancha, like the way Sancha and I operate is very different how Sherry and I. Sancha is so
Nice, nasty.
Sherry and I, no lie. Like Sherry, did I not hit you up last night? I said, yo, I'm still laughing at Sancha from the day before. And she was like, yeah, she's so like but Sancha, you all don't understand. Like the dynamics are so different between everyone. With Larry, like just look at Larry when he first started. We were doing pure sports radio and like there was a lot of he wasn't comfortable. Larry's not the most talkative person, but even he's grown in this space. Phil has taken on new roles to help us and doing a lot of stuff. I know people have asked who's doing a lot of the community videos. That's Phil. And then I can't speak enough about Maya's been on the team almost a year. And I know you love Maya and the content she's bringing. We've added Tamara, who's bringing news from the Caribbean region. What I think that's helped to do is understand that our problems are not our problems alone. There are people outside of Bermuda are facing the same challenges. So I think that's also brought something. So all of that to say, I can't forget Shanta and Keitha in the background, like always making sure, like folks, we have a backed up guest list for this show going into June. To the point we try to leave Mondays open just for the audience because I forgot there was a holiday. Shanta reminded me there was a holiday on the 8th of May for like a king thing or something like that.
I'm supposed to be trying to get off, and I tell my director that I'm supposed to have a holiday, and she said, "Well, you better take ETO."
Well, if I knew it was a holiday, because I'm going to my sister's graduation next week, I would have took off the following Monday and not come back. But anyway, all of that to say, folks, I think I'm grateful to you, Sherry. I'm grateful to Sancho. I'm grateful to Phil and Maya and Samara and Larry for trusting us, for being a part of this. And honestly, this show would be nothing without the support of our partners. I think Lindo's was the first to take a chance on us, right? Zach, a great friend of the show who literally will come on the show hey Zach, prices are going up, inflation, comes explain it to the people. He comes at a jump. Medical House and Mickey jumped right on board when we asked, supporting us and happy to engage with us. And I hope that our audience is going out and rewarding them. Tamara at People's Pharmacy and Miss Pierman, like the faith that they have in this show, but specifically the news break and I guess the foundation that Maya has created in terms of going out and getting new stories, right? It's a lot. ER Fisheries and Foods recently came on board. They see that our audience, they want to engage with you all. That's a great thing. North Shore Medical. I mean, Ask the Doctor, being able to put doctors like Dr. Katherine Dale and Dr. Amani Flood, like being able to engage directly. Folks, this is advice you really have to pay for, right? You have to go and get a consultation. I'd love to bring legal people in too. But all of our partners, BDC, and our most recent sponsor, the BAC group of companies who signed on with us and see the growth of this show and where we can go with all of you. So, Shari, I know I've been much longer than I went, but I'm grateful, I'm thankful that 700 episodes to get up and do this every day. And when I say every day, I know you all saying, well, you get weekends off. No, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot. And Jamal would tell you it was some days, especially last year, where I was like, Jamal, like this is because we have to get up so early. But preparation, organization. Jamal would tell you I would be sending him stuff Saturday, Sunday, didn't bother me during the week. And just, having to research and do things. It still expands your mind and it helps, right? So, and it helps for these conversations that we're having with our audience, with our community, and we get to learn.
Weekends, right? But she works. She'll send. That's why I said earlier. If you heard what she said, she's relaxing on Saturday. I'm like, that Sherry, you don't relax. Truth is, I try not to hit them up on weekends about anything work-wise, right? Sherry sends those emails on the weekends, right? She does. Real quickly, folks, greetings, everyone. Thanks for making us part of the routine. A good one today, as we do welcome Dr. Katherine Dale on the show. It's Ask the Doctor, brought to you by NMAC. And we're talking about stress. This is important. This is important because I just recently learned that stress actually leads to quite a few things. I did not know that. So get your questions ready. The Daily Play is a
things you should know.
Yeah.
Is it Fox or Phil?
You're so silly. It's 5 questions on the card, and I know the answer for one. So I'm going to ask you the one I know the answer for. Don't forget, please subscribe to our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels. Stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. And let's just go to the comments. A lot of love from you all. Yeah. Sean the Shield says it probably won't make you any taller, Jamal. Why are we on the short jokes?
Yes, Sean.
What's wrong with you people? Rosalind Famous says, congrats on 700. Thank you, Rosalind. I think you've been a day one. You've been a day one. Thank you for your support. Yes, that's the non-alcoholic champagne for me. Tanga Cheeseman is throwing our way. Thank you, DeVito O'Brien. We appreciate you. When you coming on, talk about that beautiful drink you got that I can enjoy. Let's have it, sister. Sanchez says, and he created an awesome team, Sherry.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, and thank you for being part of it after 3, 4, 5 months of begging. Soundcat Place says, congratulations on 700 episode. Thank you. And Sam, I think you've been a day one too. You're correct, Sherry. With all the discussions that have been spicy, I thought a few times that the plug might be pulled.
Me too, Sam.
Shikari, a happy 700th episode. Sean the Shield, 700 successful shows in the books and 7,000 in the works. Bravo, guys. Thank you. Connect says, good morning, team. Congrats on 700 episode. DOFE award in Bermuda. That's what I thought. Congratulations, 700th episode. North Shore Medical says proud of your team for their 700th. Congrats, and says thank you for all you do. Thank you for your support, North Shore Medical. Congratulations on 700th episode. It says Nana Pam, continue to be a blessing to Bermuda. Love you too, Nana Pam. Look forward to having dinner with you next week. Leon Simmons says congratulations, 700th episode. Jody Virgil, 700th episode. I appreciate it. Jody, you haven't given me permission to do this, and I hope you don't mind me doing this. I really
good Lord, the plugs getting pulled now.
Thank you for your support. Jody is one of those secret people who financially contributes to us pretty much on a monthly basis. No one knows that. I'm sorry for making it public, but these are the things that we need to celebrate. You're a person who puts your money where your mouth is. You literally contribute regularly financially in support. And for the longest time, we're trying to where's this coming from? Thank you.
Jamal, you put her on blast.
Thank you. No, because we need to celebrate people who do that kind of
Oh,
stuff. We do, and I am grateful. And the team doesn't even know that. They know now, but no, we appreciate you. Seriously, we appreciate you. Because believe it or not, these guys work hard, and we kind of have to, reward them for it. So thank you so much for believing in what we do and rewarding us
thank you, Judy.
financially, Jody. Charmaine Richardson says, congratulations on your 700th episode. Charles H. Jefferson II, I think I've missed 3.
Wow.
Which 3 were those, Charles? Laverne Tucker says, congrats on the 700th episode. Great teamwork and balance. And Jody Bird says, thank you so much. I believe in what you're doing and know what it takes to organize things. It's a lot of work. Yes, it is. And thank you for appreciating and understanding that. Carlita Davis says, congratulations on 700 episodes. The Daily Hour is a part of my morning get up and move my body day. Hugs and kisses. Yes, and right back to you. And Karen Simmons, 700 episode, haven't missed many. Congratulations on 700 episodes, says Traveling Trotty. And Jody Verger says, you're more than welcome. We did have a topic this morning, but you know what? I think let's ask this question, Sherry.
I have a question to ask.
Of the 700 episodes, what's been your favorite? What's been your favorite episode of the 700?
And then I was going to say, within reason, how about the audience asks us one question?
You know what? That's better. You ask us a question, audience. There you go. You ask us a question, and I'll tell the truth. I don't know about Sherry.
Yeah, for real. I don't know either, depending on what it is.
Yeah. Just ask. Who's really the tallest out of you and Sherry, Jamal? Go ahead. I'll answer. Go ahead. Ask. Go ahead. Audience, ask us anything. We'll answer.
Okay, but while people are doing that, Jamal, what's your favorite? What has been one of your favorite shows?
I forgot this when we were doing the end of year last year. And I definitely still feel like young Jania Seeley was one of my favorite episodes last year because she literally was so young and she didn't have any help. She just did it on her own. But I think if I had to choose, and I forgot about this one last year, it was one of the Gombe ones. I'm gonna say Zayn and Shawande, or Shawande's mom. And I think those shows connected with me the most because growing up, I remember a teacher saying, oh, you don't see any white Gumbes. We need a da-da-da-da. Like it was such almost like we should avoid that. Because, and as I've grown and, grew up in neighborhoods where Gumbes were always, the thing, you heard them next door practicing and so on. When I think of Bermuda, my connection to Bermuda, the Gumbes always come first. Not cut match, certainly not Bermuda shorts and those high socks. But I feel my greatest connection is the Gumbes, like from hearing the drum. Like it's like a call for the tribe. It's almost everyone in my neighborhood except me. I ain't have rhythm like that, folks. I'm just saying.
but it's wonderful for you to say that because now Shawande is doing big things with that and going out into the community and schools and teaching children about Gumbes, about their uniforms, costumes, and just everything about it. So it's from the Daily Hour to a community situation. So it's been wonderful to watch that.
And I'm happy to hear that. I think that show was one of my favorite, Sherry, because of the educational component. It's not just, I know before, people always talk about, oh, it was almost protest dancing or performing, right? It's a cultural way, right? When his mom was explaining like the patterns and what they meant and the threads at the bottom, what they represented, the enslaved people and so on. It just meant so much. The mirrors on the capes, and it meant so much because I did not know this growing up.
I didn't either. And the fact that she had the history herself, so somebody else told her about this as well.
Correct.
But like I said,
learned a lot from her mom, right?
Yeah. But like I said, for him to be going out into the elementary schools, like I said, I believe that was at Work Academy, I think, just recently.
Great.
But I also know it was Wes Pembroke. I believe it was Elliot. He's been to many of the schools. And just to watch that, I'm just like, this is awesome.
Well, folks, we got to show them love. What was your favorite episode? Everyone's quiet this morning. You didn't have a favorite episode? Rashida Godwin says, congrats. I really don't know how you do it every day, because I would have probably left folks hanging, but you guys are very much appreciated, and we are grateful to you all. That's why we have to rotate hosts. I mean, we've shared with you that conversation Sherry Leanna and I had almost a year and a half ago regarding doing it every day.
Like this.
It's tough. It's tough. It's tough. But I'm grateful that you all hang out with us most days to do it. The first Gombe show, Rosalind Famous said that was her favorite. Thank you so much, Rondell Richardson, who says congratulations on your 700th. Karen Simmons says, do you or will you have a digital version of Bermuda Trivia game? When is the next version coming out? Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Oh, wow.
Clyde Bass says Sean Shields. So yesterday's show, favorite show. I loved it. It was awesome. It was on. It was on. DeVito O'Brien says my favorite episode was when I was on. I love it. I know
that's right.
I love it. There you go. There you go. Look, I appreciate every show we've had. I've been very frank. Look, this is who I am. If I didn't say what I'm about to say, I wouldn't be me. But there's only about 2 episodes that I thought were total crap, like total crap. And we have to think of things like that. We have to, I say to the team every day, after each show, if we can't come away with something we've learned, then we probably had a bad show. The purpose of this show is really to find ways to improve our community, to have conversations that are going to be solution driven, that are going to lead us to a better Bermuda for everyone, right? So, we're having a conversation at Ask the Doctor today with Dr. Katherine Dale. We know people are stressing, whether it's the rise in inflation, 10%, I think Maya reported yesterday, right? Yeah. It's whether it's education reform, the SDO, it's a lot of stuff that's going on. And so these conversations with people like Dr. Katherine Dale, these are the conversations we're having. Someone mentioned Craig Simmons, Traveling Charlie. I appreciate it. I think Craig Simmons probably offers some of the best value on this show when he comes on. The best value. People are attentive. He answers questions. And keep in mind, if he gets something wrong, emails, hey, Jamel, I retract this, I said that, and we've done that. But I appreciate Mr. Simmons. He has been a great contributor, pretty much co-host at times on this show. So I definitely agree with you, Traveling Charlie.
Jamel, while you're going through this, nobody's asked us a question. But
no one's asked us a question, right? Folks, you don't have any questions for us? Sure, that's true. No one's asked questions.
Keep coming.
Karen Simmons says my favorite episode was the one I was on as well. Hope it wasn't my episode, Jamel. Total crap. You all don't want. Look, I'll tell you which episode. That guy.
No, Jamel.
That lawyer lady. Yeah, but anyway, they're friendly. We could say. I mean, they could go back and figure out what it was. Talking about her damn cat on this show. What was wrong with her? Marquita Lee says Gumbe show and Bacardi Shake Your Future, giving young people a great opportunity. I would say Alana Rogers from Bacardi that was a good show. I mean, that was probably this year. If you ask me so far this year, next to Craig Simmons, I would say that was one of the top shows. Because of the engagement in particular, but I also think Amani recently as well done very well. That was
mine.
I'm gonna have to talk to Amani because.
But you didn't. You're getting cookies as well, Jamel. But you didn't tell me anything about it. I had to find out from some.
I was not gonna tell you I was getting cookies. Why? I'm not sharing with you.
Unreal. I said, oh, he is. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to talk to Money. Our friendship, is a little dented at this point. Charles A. Shuff says, I hope I wasn't one of the two. You're not a lawyer, and you had nothing to do with the egg show.
Well, that's your friend, Charles.
The show's about mental and physical health and well-being. I appreciate this one. Most challenging interview we've had. I can answer that. A lawyer that came on and was talking about her freaking cat the whole time. And You all can pick
Yeah.
that. That was the most challenging one, I would say. And the second one would be the guy that came on to talk about the exhibition, who went on a rant about not being on Facebook. Those two shows stand out. That was in the
Yeah.
first year.
I wouldn't, Mr. Peace, I wouldn't, I feel like all shows are somewhat of a challenge for me. And not because they're bad or anything like that. It's just the conversation or just understanding what the topic or just the things that we're talking about. So not really bad. I don't have one that stands out like Jamal about cats.
I have to edit them, folks. So I'm coming from that perspective. But I would say they're most challenging because we try to prepare our guests as much as possible. Anyone who's been on the show, you know how we try to prepare you. We give you like a lot of instruction. And so out of 700 episodes, probably like 650 guests. It's tough when people kind of don't follow the guidelines. Sean the Shield says, who's the shortest host on this show?
But it ain't me.
Who is the shortest?
Well, you just saw Tamara. Is it
Yeah, Tamara's probably the shortest.
Tamara?
Yeah, she's the short. Is she shorter than Maya? Yeah, she is. Because Maya's pretty tall. Maya's tall.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tamara would be the shortest. Yeah.
Next will be you.
No, next would be Sancha. Then next would be you, and then Maya. Yeah. Are you taller than Maya? Maya's pretty tall. Everybody look at Maya on camera. She's tall. Traveling Charlie says, what advice would you give aspiring talk show host? Go, Sherry.
I would say definitely ensure that this is a passion, and because it has to be consistent. So, and it has to be something that you love. You have to step into something with love and passion.
I said on Maya's Twitter the other day, I said, without passion, with passion's great. But when you combine passion with work ethic, you get a deadly combination. My advice to anyone who's aspiring to do this is you have to have a combination of both. Passion will only get you so far. If you don't have the work ethic, and I would say look at people like Amaya, since she's the one that's mostly out there in Bermuda, and you'll see her. But these guys put a lot of work into the research. Like, I don't know if you've noticed, but Larry, when he comes up, he's got his pen in his hand, and Sherry's Sanchez's whiteboard. Like, there's whiteboards. We're taking notes. My advice based on doing this show with different people is very simple. Don't just come on camera or turn on your mic and start talking. Know what you're talking about. Do a little research. We're not saying go as far as, doing a research paper, but just read different perspectives. Because if you're only coming from one angle, which I do on conscription, by the way, it's only one perspective. But if you're only understanding one perspective, then are you really in a position to have an objective conversation about anything? That's why I say I'm an equal opportunity offender. I really I don't care where you sit politically. What I do care about is, how you treat people. So yeah, I would say just be prepared to do a lot of research. Read things you don't agree with. There are people who will not watch Fox News because they hate them. You can't be develop an objective opinion if you only tune into things that agree with you.
Yeah, you have to be informed.
Yeah, and so I would encourage people to grow beyond the environments they're in. Sean DeShield says Sir John was a great guest. I agree. Rosalind Famous says KPMG mentorship program was good as well. Will you have any live shows once in a while? That is the goal. But again, if we had more people like Jody Virgil, we might be able to make that happen. I'll just say that much. Live shows take a lot, folks. They do take a lot. It takes a lot of, as Karen Simmons is saying, come on, people, let's give some financial support to make this happen at least once. Cop match would be great. Maya and I had a long chat about this. It's something we want to do, but financially, we just don't have the capacity to do it. We don't own a physical studio like some others do. And then, paying the camera people and the equipment that's going to be needed, it will take a lot. So it's really tough. We'd love to do it, though.
I've asked I've asked a few times. I'm like, Jamal, we need to like,
Yeah.
Sherry, do you know? And I'm like,
No,
okay,
it's a lot.
gosh.
It's a lot. We would love to do it, but again, we appreciate you all the words, but unfortunately, the words are not what's going to help us get that done. And that's just the reality. Charles H. Jefferson II, what was your favorite show and why? Who would you like to have on for the first time and a repeat guest and why? Go, Sherry, and any of the other co-hosts in the audience, please share.
Oh my goodness. I'm just gonna go with a recent show, and that would have to be Amani. Um, it was one of my favorites because the growth I'm sure that he has and the path that he's going and their mission, which is to ensure that people or young adults who are autistic can live independently. So when Jamal always talks about that value and teaching people to do things to sustain themselves, this is one of the highlights of the show, which is something that they are doing. And so for me, that was really, really inspirational. Who would I like to have on for the first time? Oh, I don't know. I can't answer that because I would see some. I'm a type of person like, oh, they would be a good person to be on the show so I can learn something about. Oh, this person might be a little bit of the Gemini in me. That person would be a good person. So I like everyone.
Mm.
I do because you could get a little bit from each person.
I kind of answered where's my favorite show. I think the Gombe shows, The Connection. It's more about what we learned in that, not necessarily kind of always the people. I think as far as people, I love so many different people that have been on, but I think the connection with that. Who would I like to have on for the first time? Off the top of my head, from a political perspective, Dame Pamela Gordon, who I believe is close to coming on. I would love to have her on the show. Repeat guest. I'd love to have a lot of people back, to be honest. But repeat guest, if I had to think someone to come back, I would probably say,
Who would you say, Jamal?
Curtis Dickinson.
Ah, I liked Uncle Curtis.
And I would say Curtis Dickinson because now that election's over, what are your thoughts? People don't hear from him. And I think people still would value him. I'd like to know his thoughts on a few things. Love when Craig comes on and gives information, says Janet Maynard. Shamara says, I'm not. No, don't get on her lying, Tamara. Don't get on her lying, because even with your heels, you were beneath me. No, let's not do that. Let's not do that. You're even my head on heels trying to tower over me. Don't you all look. Anyway, Tango Cheeseman says, you can consider engaging a young person to shadow that is interested in journalism. Absolutely. Maya and I had a conversation about that recently. Yeah, we're very much open to that. We just need to find young people that are interested. Folks, we got to guess. We got to get to the important part of the show. We're dealing with stress today. You all don't stress me out. Sean DeShield says, rate your interview with David versus Curtis Dickinson. I think.
Oh, Lord, Sean.
I mean, one person is a great speaker, and the other pretends to be. I mean, that's the way to rate it for me is one person came across very sincere and the other person came across like a politician. One person came across like they're doing
bothering them.
Help. The other person came across like they're trying to, they're in a job that they need to keep. At the end of the day, you can see which person's which based on what I'm saying, but I'll put it this way here. I just said that I'd love to have Curtis Dickinson back on. I wouldn't care if David Burton never came back on the show. I don't think David is healthy for the Bermudian people. I don't think he is, in my lifetime, I don't say that just because he's the leader today. I think he's the worst premier we've had in Bermuda in my lifetime. And since I've been born, and as far as I can remember, Sir John Swan, Dame Pamela Gordon, Dr. David Saul, Dame Jennifer Smith, Alex Scott, Dr. Ewart Brown, Paula Cox, Craig Cannonier, who I honestly cannot believe people think he was as bad as what we have today, but that's just because of what we were driven to think. and then Michael Dunkley, and now David Burt. I think I would say this respectfully, and I'm okay with people disagreeing. I think David Burt is the worst premier to happen for Bermuda. And I think the challenge is, as bad as some of us see he is today, the damage you won't see until years later. And that's the saddest part about this. So I would say Dickinson versus Burt, it's like a 10 versus a -10. Mark Bean, Shamari Talbot said that's one of his favorite guests. I enjoyed Mark. I did. I think Mark brings a different perspective, and it's a very strong. And I think he makes people think. Sam Kepley says Gerald Simons, as the first education minister to mess with the system, would be a good guest to ask why. I have a story I'll share off air with you, Sam Kepley, but regarding Gerald Simons. But I think he was very proud of what he did with education and the mess that he created. I'll say that. I think he was proud because I think he believed it was right. He believed it was right. I think many thought it was right. Again, remember what I just said about David Burt. Years from now, you'll see the damage. See, years from now, was the damage from that education situation. We will feel the damage of David Burt's leadership. That's why it's up to people today to stop it. Let's bring Tamara McHale. We're very far behind, but we're going to make up time with Dr. Dale. Hopefully she doesn't have any appointments. We can go a bit longer with her. Let's bring Tamara in for the Daily Hour news break with her short self. All right. What's up,
First and foremost, congratulations.
Well, thank you.
I am 5 feet 5 inches.
Yeah, that's short. Oh.
I know 5'5" is short, right? But that's without heels, and with heels, I'm 5 feet 8 inches. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, still shorter than a brother. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean,
well, she's not shorter than you with heels, Jamal. Let's be clear.
There's heels.
Exactly. 5 feet 5 is actually average height for a female,
but not for a male, which is what Jamal. He's 5 feet.
Excuse me, Sherry. Thank you. I'm taller than you. We thank you.
Anyway, congratulations on your 700 episodes. Chair.
What's in your glass? What's in your glass?
Literally, it's just apple cider vinegar and water.
I'm like, it look a little sparkly over there. I don't know.
She's got a faux ACV.
Look like she just a little sipping on something. I'm just saying. I ain't hating on you. Do your thing.
I don't want to have any liquor so early in the morning.
Yeah. I mean, Sherry doesn't have any limits, but what you got for us? What's in the news break? Give it to us.
All right, let me just try to keep it short today. So this is the Daily Hour news break for today, Friday, April 28th, brought to you by the People's Pharmacy. So quickly, we start off with news, unfortunately, that the police are investigating the sudden death of an American cruise ship passenger who experienced difficulty while scuba diving sometime this week. And a police spokesman said that emergency services were called, I think, on Wednesday to a marine incident in the western Blue Cut area of the Reefs. And the spokesman said it was reported that a 48-year-old woman from the Celebrity Reflection was scuba diving with a group when she experienced difficulties and she was removed from the water unresponsive. She was taken to the hospital where unfortunately she was pronounced dead, and so an investigation into the incident has begun.
Very sad. Very, very sad. And condolences to the visitor's family.
Yeah, to the family. And schools, there will be, you guys were mentioning it, but there will be a public holiday on Monday, May 8th in recognition of the coronation of King Charles III. And to highlight the occasion, there are a series of events taking place starting on May 6th. So a government spokesperson said the public is reminded that on May 8th, there is a public holiday in recognition of the coronation of His Majesty King Charles III and Her Majesty the Queen Consort. So to highlight the occasion, there are a series of events, and you can look at that flyer, that picture, with some of the events that will be. Remember,
so
it will be a big holiday.
So I have a question. I'm not being that guy. I'm not being that guy. I'm just asking. Like, I think this is so harsh. These holidays, these are so harsh because What about retailers, and people who, I guess, work, like they need these work days. You got what I'm saying? Like, I just feel for them, I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too much. Continue. Sorry.
Well, I guess it's a momentous occasion, so yeah.
Not my case.
All right, speaking of retail, in other news, retail sales volume in Bermuda decreased by 0.2% year over year in January, according to figures released by the Ministry of Economy and Labor this week. So that figure was determined after adjusting for the retail sales rate of inflation, which was measured at 6% in January. According to Duncan Hall from the Gazette, the increase in sales value was caused by elevated rates of inflation for all other store types and food.
I don't know what you all talking about. I ain't gonna believe any of these numbers until Jason Hayward tells me differently. Go ahead.
And quickly, we reported on this issue earlier this week. The show has been having discussions about it, but a reminder that this morning, the protest march by those opposing the proposed development of the Fairmont Southampton will take place as they take to the cabinet building and make their views known. And the planned protest march is expected to start at 9:30 a.m. So yes, so that begins this morning.
You know what? I wonder if Maya's going down there to the parade and to see if what the action's looking like, because I think it could be pretty interesting, man. I'm looking forward to seeing. Yeah, I don't know.
I think Maya would definitely go.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll ask her because I know she's got a life. She's doing that thing last night and probably just waking up. I don't know. But all that to say, I'm very interested to see the turnout and response to this.
All right. And let me quickly go to some regional news. So in Jamaica, there are concerns that rats have taken over sections of Halfway Tree, which is like our central hub of the capital, Kingston, and the busiest thoroughfare in the city. So Halfway Tree is like the New York City of Jamaica. So I actually presented on this story on Wednesday night on TV with the video making the rounds. And here's an excerpt courtesy of CVM TV.
I'm not laughing.
Rats of varying sizes are disrupting the smooth operation for businesses in Halfway Tree. Vendors, taxi operators, and commuters say the rodents invade their spaces without reservation and damage their goods. Our junior reporter Natalia Clark did a stakeout, and the findings are far from pleasant. Here are the details.
A growing problem of rat infestation in and around the Nelson Mandela Park is nibbling away at the integrity of the complex, creating not only a massive health crisis, but hindering commerce and commute. The park, though a playground for children in the day, is transformed into a haven for a colony of mutant-looking rats by night. Vendors say they have coexisted with the vermin for years as they continue to eat away at their profits.
Trust me, every night these rats they're terrorizing the entire place. Them try to terrorize the snack sometime. Me have to run them way. Me have to try to watch the goods them so them not bite them up, and because we're selling people stuff.
I know. Funny.
I'm laughing because she said when she went into it, it's like the New York City of the area. And anybody that knows New York City, you got rats in their subways as large as cats. So
I know. It's funny, but at the same time, it's a health hazard. So yeah. Get it together, man.
Get it together. We don't need no big rodents running around. No, let's get it together. How's the weather looking?
All right. So in the weather today, it's actually going to be a beautiful start to the day in Bermuda. So things are going to be bright and sunny, plenty of sunshine, but it will turn cloudier later. You should have a high near 22 degrees Celsius or 71 degrees Fahrenheit, and similar conditions here in Kingston, Jamaica, where it's mainly bright and sunny.
All righty. All right. Tell me it's not International Rat Day, please, Sherry.
No, but today is World Day for Safety and Health at Work. So this day was initiated to promote and discuss the importance of having safe and healthy work environment. Data will show that deaths that have occurred as a result of work-related accidents are 19% globally. The necessity and demand to fix this humane issue is highlighted on the World Day for Safety and Healthy at Work. The need to change and thorough plan of action of well-being for every worker across the globe is vital. So,
You all feel safe and cool in your work environment here?
some days I'm stressed out.
Well, that's because you're working from home. Don't blame me. Anyway, Tamara, have yourself a wonderful weekend.
Have a great weekend and congratulations again. Keep up the fantastic work.
Thank you. And you keep
Awesome.
that apple cider vinegar alcohol free. Go ahead, girl. Talk to you later. Tamara McHale, folks. Don't go anywhere. We've got Ask the Doctor for you. We're talking about stress. I am loving this conversation already because stress is that thing that even the happiest of people on the surface deal with. Dr. Katherine Dale, Ask the Doctor, brought to you by NMAC. She's coming up right after this. Stick with us.
Let's face it, life can be a little wild, but shopping doesn't have to be. I choose People's, so that whether it's a prescription that needs to be filled, a toy for my little terror, or a gift for a new addition to the family, we'll see about that. Everything's available in one convenient location. Some call it People's, I call it my one-stop shop in the city. People's, we're here for you.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level.
Mom's celebrating her 70th birthday next month. Have you noticed her age is catching up with her?
Yeah. Plus, she's having a hard time getting up and around like she's used to. I would sure hate to see her fall.
At Medical House Limited, we can help make life situations easier. We have electric beds, motorized scooters, bath stools, walkers, you name it.
Mom's been real good to us. We'll get her birthday and Christmas gifts from Medical House.
Medical House has relocated next to the Dendy Town Field. Number 6 Bakery Lane, Pembroke. Telephone 292-3622.
Righty, welcome back to the big show. Sherry Vanderpool, I'm Jamel Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. Folks, don't forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic like Jody Virgil does as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Now, Sherry told me backstage that Phil said that I was out of focus. The reason I was out of focus is because I changed the focus on the camera so you all can see this. You know, I thought the can was more important than seeing my face, but anyway, that's why I was out of focus most of the time, folks. So please forgive me.
Teamwork, I tell you.
Yeah, teamwork. I'm letting you know what goes on backstage, well, the good stuff, because you don't want to see what Sherry does to me. It's a lot of sign language, folks, a lot of sign language. But let's bring on another beautiful face. We've got Dr. Katherine Dale. We're talking about stress. And if anyone knows about stress, and I'm being serious, it's something that we care about it when we feel it, but when we don't, it doesn't matter, if that makes sense. And what I mean by that, you know, they say the silent killer is, what is it, blood pressure, right?
Blood pressure, diabetes.
Like there's a lot of silent killers. My doctor recently said stress is too, because stress leads to other things. And she went down a list of things, but I'll leave that for Dr. Katherine Dale to speak to us about. But let's give a warm TDH welcome to our guest for the day. We've got Dr. Katherine Dale joining us. Here we go. Good morning. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Good morning.
Good to be with you again.
No, I'm so sorry that we're behind, but Sherry talks a lot, so we kind of Yeah, it happens. But thank you so
Mhm.
much for joining us on this symbolic episode, number 700. Always a pleasure having the folks from NMAC join us. I think these are some of the most important conversations, as someone said, the conversations about health and wellness they enjoy most. And fortunately, we've had more of these kind of conversations this year than any other kind. So we're grateful for segments like this. So thank you for doing this. But let's
My
just
pleasure.
jump right into it. Unless people are living on the rock, they should know who you are and what you do. But let's just explain, explain in the most layman term what stress actually is.
Well, stress is what we experience when we're under pressure. So if we do the analysis of a gazelle and a lion, when we experience something threatening outside of our cells, we respond. And what happens is adrenaline is released. And adrenaline actually is, adaptive. It increases our heart rate and our breathing rate. It makes us focus, right? So it's a great way to find ways to escape from that lion. However, when we're under stress for extended periods of time, then our stress response turns into other issues. But that cortisol level also that increases, it mobilizes glucose from our liver, and that gives us quick energy. So when we feel all of that stress, we end up, having this amazing response. We actually also have an immune response. So some people, when they're noticing that they're getting a little bit of a cold, this is one thing you can do and something you'll learn from your naturopath, how to stay healthy. But if you use like a breathing exercise and recognize that adding a little bit of extra stress to your body will actually allow you to fight, right? Not only fight the perceived attacker, the lion, but also to fight viruses and bacteria. So stress is like a response from our autonomic nervous system. It makes sense that we respond to stress. It's not great for us to just be sitting around and avoiding all stress. It's adaptive. If you think about it, just like a muscle, any muscle, if you stress your heart and ask your heart to like increase its heart rate, sometimes that actually helps increase the capacity of your heart. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, you said a lot. It's a lot. And that leads me to, and folks, if you have any questions or comments for Dr. Dale about stress, please send them through. We'll try to get through as many as possible. What are some of the things that stress can lead to? Because I was pretty shocked what my doctor was telling me, but just explain what are some of the things that being stressed can lead to.
Well, some of the major things that I deal with as a naturopath here at North Shore Medical are things like insomnia. People are struggling with weight gain, particularly weight gain around the belly. Also, of course, here at North Shore, we deal a lot with people that are concerned about aging and avoiding aging. And those are all things that stress can lead to. We have ideal levels of stress, right? Like I talked about, how it is adaptive. It helps us respond to infection in our lives or that we're experiencing stress. It's good for us to have this response. But there can be toxic levels. And those levels of excess stress, we can't find ways to cope. This is another thing that I teach my patients as well, is how to cope. So we have poor coping mechanisms, which we develop over our lives. One of the most common ways that we deal with stress is by eating sugary foods. Sugar, actually, when we study it, it's the same effect as an opioid. We become addicted to it and almost addicted to the stress, because we know when we're under stress, we reach for that sugary treat. And then, of course, that's going to lead to all sorts of things. We know about sugars. Last time I talked to you about fried foods. Today, it's all about avoiding the sugars. So our bodies become insulin resistant. That's another thing that we talk about with a metabolic syndrome. So here at North Shore, we can educate you on how to deal with those cravings. And those cravings that we have are directly related to our stress response. This is a pattern that we've gotten into when we're under an extreme amount of stress. When we look at studies of humans, what they end up doing is reaching for those sweet foods, and the weight is gained right in the belly, that fat around there. And the reason it is once again adaptive. It's a very fast way of accessing energy if we need it. Because if we're constantly receiving that stress,
But I always heard that, right? Like I always heard people say there's stress eating and so on. I just thought it was like just people saying it, like, oh, I'm stressed, I eat. I didn't know it was a real thing.
It's a real thing. We look at studies, and that's exactly what we find. But people who adapt, find ways to adapt, particularly meditation practice. People who call on their friends and resources, like you and Sherry are good friends, supporting each other. And you have all your team of people out there as well offering you support. So when we learn to find support from one another, when we lean on our resources, then we have other options, right? But it is a retraining.
Interesting.
So I fall on the different spectrum of stress. So I don't go to cravings and sugars. I go to no appetite, which is probably definitely not the better and either, because when you do get your appetite back, you tend to overeat. So for me, one of my signs is I lose appetite. But what are some of the other signs and symptoms of stress? Like when Jamal stresses me out, I just don't eat.
Oh.
That is a common, not as common. The majority of people do not. You have like a sympathetic response. So we talk about the parasympathetic and the sympathetic response. So your response is different than the majority of people in that you stop eating. But some of the other things is, we're having difficulty sleeping. That's a huge one. With short, repetitive exposure to stress, then we can manage it. But when it's long term, then we end up ruminating. We end up stressing about things. Things go over and over in our head. We wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's a major sign. But we need to learn ways to become adaptive early on. So at North Shore, we're working on meditation retreats. And this is a great way to give yourself a low inflammatory diet, focus in on finding ways to calm yourself, calm your mind. We can do breathing exercises. I teach that, and I'd love to teach you a breathing exercise as well, ways to calm ourselves down. And then, of course, another sign is the weight gain. And we can see actually when we're under stress and we're not managing it properly, we actually have early aging. We look at telomeres, which are on our chromosomes that protect us from aging. Here at North Shore, we can do some testing as well of whether you're being exposed to antioxidants and how your body's responding. You can use things like herbs, and you can use nutrition, and you can use diet and lifestyle changes to help manage that. But once you find the chronic stress, we have that ideal level. And if you're at the chronic level or even an underactive stress response, then we start to realize that you need to make some changes.
Okay. So what kind of things can stress lead to?
Yeah, well, long-term exposure to stress, when we end up gaining that extra weight around our bellies, of course, it can lead to other problems like diabetes. It can end up, if we're constantly under stress as well, it can cause cardiovascular issues. We end up with that insulin resistance, and that leads to all sorts of metabolic issues as well without our sleep. And I did a talk recently with the government as well on the topic of insomnia. And when we have lack of sleep, it leads to overeating the next day. It actually leads to mental health issues, and it also leads to diabetes. Mental health issues are a major result of our stress response. If we are constantly seeing ourselves as the gazelle instead of the lion in our lives, we're going to find that we can't cope with anything. All things will be stressful to us. When we're in that rat race of life, to refer back to the story as well that was told, and we can't see our way out, then we are under that stress constantly. So we need to reframe. We need to find ways, and we can talk to our naturopath, we can talk to other therapists about how we can manage that stress response, how we can feel more like the lion, right? Because if we reframe our challenges in life, if we see life rather than, like you were saying with some of your other guests, where they turned their problems into a challenge rather than something that was debilitating. And that's it's a major change in our lives, to see ourselves rather than the victim as someone who's the main player in our lives. And that takes a lot of practice, and it takes a lot of intention. But that is really how we're going to manage our stress. We're going to see ourselves as empowered, right? We're going to see ourselves as being stressed in a good way, because that stress exercises our heart. That stress puts us in a place where we can take on new challenges, and it actually is good for our bodies. It's good to feel stress.
I know that you discussed acupuncture and some different ways of managing stress, but what are some tips that you can manage stress prior to coming to you? Just say that you're booked up for a little while, but I am stressed out. I need to do something prior to making it to see Dr. Dale.
Yeah, let's do it right now. Let's do an exercise right now. We've been working at North Shore together, creating a team, right? Feeling safe in our environment. And one way that when we feel the stress, maybe we wake up with anxiety, or in the night, we can do a breathing exercise. So let's do it together. Just put your feet down flat on the ground. Doesn't matter where you are when you do this, but what you're going to do is you're going to breathe in through your nose, as long as everyone can. It's okay if you use your mouth if you can't breathe through your nose, but breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. So we'll take 2 breaths in through our nose and 1 breath out through our mouth. And when we breathe out, we exhale with a sigh. This is the breath of sigh. So breathing in and out. Make that. Oh, yeah. The more sound, the better. Come on, Jamel.
Come on, Jamel.
4 times. I feel less.
And one more time. So what you want to do is you want to make that exhale longer than the inhale. And what that's doing is actually speaking directly to your nervous system. We don't think about it. We can't control our spleen. We can't control our intestine. We can't control our liver, but our hearts, we can actually have an impact on. And I don't mean only emotionally, I mean physiologically. We can slow down our heart rate, right? When we exhale longer than inhale, we're actually sending a message to our heart. There's actually a sinoatrial node in our heart that responds to where our diaphragm is in our body. This is the stuff we teach you as naturopaths. We look at the physiology and we see how that can influence all parts of our bodies, emotional parts of our bodies as well, right? So we can relate with each other in a calm way. We can be focused, but we won't be overreactive. So doing that simple breathing is one way that you can start to make changes in your life. And then once you do that breath, it'll calm you down immediately, and then you'll be able to have more clarity in your conversations. You won't say things that you later regret. You'll be able to think more clearly and have that focus. So it's an advantage. You're in that response because being in a stressful response makes you have focus, gives you clarity. But if you can't respond properly and life becomes overwhelming, then we're going to end up with insomnia. We're going to end up with weight gain. We're going to end up with cardiovascular diseases. So I want everyone to think of 3 ways. One thing is to imagine yourself like the lion in your life rather than the gazelle. Don't feel like you're being chased around all the time, and find ways, call on your resources. Look at people that have helped you before. And then making sure that you're breathing, even making sure you're breathing is important, but doing that breath of sigh is really helpful. And then coming to see your naturopath. We can talk to you about nutritional changes, food changes. We can help you with cravings. We can even recommend different herbs and nutritional supplements, vitamins that are helpful in calming your nervous system and making you that lion in your life, giving you empowerment and turning the challenge into
I just want to get some questions from the audience. They have quite a few. So, folks, we'll do a giveaway a bit later as well. So don't go anywhere. We'll do a giveaway. But let's go to the first question. Karen Simmons is asking, is chronic stress when you are in fight or flight response?
So chronic stress is something that it's beyond the initial, right? When the fight or flight is the initial response. But once it becomes chronic, then we're no longer able to mobilize ourselves, right? We become immobilized. It could be either way, that they're just constant cortisol in our bodies. And that cortisol leads us to some of the things we already talked about. It leads us to finding ways to quickly manage those problems we're having. So we turn to sometimes coping mechanisms that aren't so supportive of our bodies. And that can lead to more inflammation in our bodies. We end up not being able to deal with things anymore. We end up sick, constantly sick, getting colds and flus all the time. And it ends up to stressing our bodies and metabolic symptoms. So the initial response is that fight or flight. And then long-term, we're just, it's just turning into a situation where we're no longer able to respond the way we would like to. And it's just a constant, response to not being able to do what you want to do. Yeah.
All right. Sean DeShields asking, please discuss how sex can be considered as a good stress reliever.
Oh, this seems like a not safe for work conversation here, but we do know about oxytocin being released when we reach climax. So that oxytocin is a wonderful stress relief for our bodies. If you feel relaxed enough, because that's really actually even more important. People don't realize that is a huge part of feeling amorous, is that you also do need to feel relaxed, that there needs to be an emotional side to it as well. But of course, it's a great stress relief. Also, we are calling on those resources that I talked about. We're calling on our friends and our support around us. We're asking for connection and closeness with other beings. And that's beautiful. That's a wonderful way to reduce your stress. To find a team of people to bring around you, or even your one person, your special person to be in your life and to offer that support to you. It's wonderful. So yeah, definitely a good tip.
Tamara McKill, she's asking, can you have good stress? Is there a such thing as good stress?
Absolutely. When we look at studies of people who, tell us that they don't have any stress, we take a look a little deeper there, and we realize that they're not engaged. The only way that you can avoid stress is by sitting in a room by yourself, although that could be stressful too. But we need to engage. We need to challenge ourselves every day. Do something that challenges you or frightens you every day. Step outside your comfort zone, because we need to exercise that stress response. It causes our heart rate to increase, and that variability of heart rate is really important. We don't want things to be always neutral. That stress puts us in a place where we increase our response, our inflammatory immune response. We're stressing our heart, and we're putting it in a place so that it can work more with more function. And also we're giving ourselves an opportunity to reframe, right? To see the challenges in our lives, to see the problems in our lives as challenges. So yes, we need to put ourselves in stress every day, or regularly. We need to take on new things. It actually even improves the function of our amygdala and our memories as we get older. They'll find that the more work you do as an elderly person, the more challenges you put yourself under, the better your brain ends up functioning. So yes, stress yourself.
North Shore Medical says, stay tuned. Jamal and Sherry treat. Dr. Dale wants to give away a lucky free viewer acupuncture nutritional guidelines for stress reduction. But this brings up a great thing, because I've been told by one of my friends, mentors for years that, hey, don't just go get your monthly massage. Got one coming tomorrow morning, by the way. But acupuncture, you need to try that. Can you just speak to what acupuncture is and why it's considered something that we should probably consider as something to reduce stress?
Yeah, the acupuncture, the way that it works is it causes your whole body to connect all the different aspects of your body. So we're creating an energy system within the body that's functioning effectively. So when one part of the body is experiencing a stress, then all your resources are called in. We get blocks in different areas of our bodies, and we use acupuncture to release those blocks. So we can think of it as pain in different areas of our body, or perhaps it is our heart that's not functioning. So the acupuncture reconnects all of that. The acupuncture releases the pain of different areas. It releases the blocks. You could also think of it as a little bit of stress as well that we're adding to your body, but it's in a controlled, safe, friendly environment as well. So it's also something new that people are trying. It's important to try different ways of providing therapy to your body as well. So the acupuncture has been used for thousands of years as a way to rebalance our entire system. And that's really what's happening. In a stress response, it's becoming imbalanced. We're no longer able to cope. It's too long, and we haven't found any ways to get ourselves into reframe, to allow our bodies to relax. And so we use the acupuncture, we use nutrition, we use, like Jamal uses his massage. So we need to find different resources to release that stress. And acupuncture is a wonderful way. And I also do acupressure with a lot of my patients that are not so excited about having needles. And that's been wonderful too. It's a way to release the stress, to calm the body, and just to reconnect to your resources, reconnect to the people around you, as asking your naturopath to be supportive of you as well. So it's a wonderful way to relieve your stress for sure.
All right, we'll do a hashtag giveaway after the break, since I believe we're giving away free acupuncture. So we'll do that after the break. Before you go, one last question, most concise. I know we're out of time, but Karen Sim is asking, what is the significant difference between acupuncture and cupping, other than the use of needles? Do these techniques have the same effect?
They have a similar effect. The cupping is much more, it's focused really on one part of your body, predominantly your back. And the acupuncture can be used for specific areas of the body to relieve the stress, to relieve the pain, whereas the cupping really is more of a whole body experience. It's detoxifying. It removes inflammation from your body. It removes stress from your body. So the cupping can be used that way. Whereas the acupuncture is just more, can also be full body, but it ends up being focused on particular parts of the body. But we're ultimately having a very similar effect to reconnecting that web of nervous system connection, of giving the body a reminder that we are the lion in our lives, and that we can use resources to support the changes that we want to make in our lives.
All right. And real quickly, before you head out, just let people know how they can get in touch with NMAC to find out how they can deal with their stress.
Yeah, you can actually book in with us online now, and you go to nmac.bm and you can actually book in with our practitioners online. You can give us a ring at 293 5476, and you can contact me as well. There's my handle on Thank you. You know where I am. Luckily, there's no 911 this morning.
Right.
But yeah, you can contact me at Bermuda Naturopath as well. Thank you so much. It's been wonderful to chat with you. And I know that I started out with the adrenaline response, but by the end, I was just enjoying your smiles and laughter. So
thank you.
No worries. No, thank you. This conversations with you guys are always so helpful. And audience, honestly, the stress is something that all of us deal with. I don't think anyone escapes it. There are ways to deal with it. So reach out to the folks at NMAC, reach out to Dr. Dale. Let's deal with it. We don't want any other problems to come from it. Dr. Dale, thank you so much. And thank you to North Shore Medical for the Ask the Doctor segment. We'll see you soon again, I hope.
My
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Yeah. Have a good day.
All right, you as well.
Thanks.
Dr. Katherine Dale, Ask the Doctor, brought to you by North Shore Medical. Folks, again, give them a shout. Figure it out. I actually want to try that acupuncture thing. Have you done it?
I've had it. Yeah, I have.
Yeah, and I still stretch it.
Yeah. I might have to.
You know that. Anyway, we're taking a break. You ain't got no love for me. We're taking a break.
Ordering from ER Fisheries has just gotten simpler. With just a few clicks of a button, you can place an order for next-day delivery or same-day pickup. Our ever-expanding list of offerings now include grocery pantry items, specialty meats, and bread and dairy items. We know things have been hard, and we're here to make planning for your next meal or party easy. Whether you're a vegetarian or a meat eater, we have what you're looking for. And best of all, it can be delivered to your door in 24 hours or less. Go to www.erfisheries.bm and check out our wide range of seafood, beef, lamb, pork, poultry, fruits, vegetables, and plant-based products, all available at reasonable prices. That's www.erfisheries.bm.
All right, welcome back. Thanks again to Dr. Katherine Dale and North Shore Medical. Ask the Doctor once a month for you to have the opportunity to engage directly with our doctors. Folks, the hashtag is going to be for the giveaway, and I believe North Shore Medical said the giveaway is going to be for a free acupuncture, no needles, and nutritional guidelines for stress reduction. So we're going to give that away now. So the hashtag would be NMAC. So just hashtag NMAC while Sherry and I wrap it up and do the daily play. So thanks again to the BAC group of companies, Medical House Windows, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we would have these conversations on a daily basis. Time for the daily play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. Sherry, are you ready?
I am.
All right, Larry would be very proud of you if you knew the answer to this. Sherry, audience, help her out while you're doing your hashtag. How many miles are in a marathon? This is easy. Come on.
It isn't. Is it 23 or 25 or something? I don't know. How many miles? I'm not good with measurements, Jamal. Jason gets very upset with me. 15? 10. And a marathon. Isn't it 20?
Everyone, I'm going to say no one got it right. Everyone's saying 26 miles. Someone almost got it. It's not 26.1. It's not 26. If we're going to be exact, if a half marathon, thank you, George Butterfield, it's 26.2. A half marathon,
I was close.
13.1. There you go, Traveling Charlie. You guys, it's not 26. It's 26.2. That 0.2 makes a difference, folks. It makes a difference.
Okay.
It makes a difference. Sherry.
Larry's not going to be proud of me.
I'm telling Larry that you didn't get it. But yeah, things you should know. There are 26.2 miles in a marathon, folks. 26.
Yeah, I knew it was 20-something.
She knew it was 20-something, folks. She knew it was 20-something.
I don't run.
You don't run, Sherry?
Never been a long distance type of. Not been a sprinter. I've been a netball shortstop, run stop.
She got the short part, right? I'm sorry. Let's do this. Let's final thoughts. Final thoughts on 700 episodes, being a part of this team, and then obviously the conversation about stress. What you got?
I'm gonna keep it, short and sweet, Jamal. 700 episodes. I'm just happy that I'm still here. I'm still engaging, and I'm still continuing to learn from yourself and others, especially our guests in our community. And just so proud of the Daily Hour. Period. Everybody. When it comes to stress, I really try to eliminate that from my life, but you continue to hang around. So I just have to figure out how to work with it. The breathing exercises and knowing tips how to manage being more important. Knowing tips and how to manage it so it doesn't turn into something else is definitely what I got from Dr. Dale. And so, check out NMAC for that stress management.
All these cheap shots in her comments, folks. I don't know her stress. I don't know. No, 700 episodes. It's not easy, honestly. I was being dead serious when I said sometimes I just wake up and don't want to do it. I haven't had that feeling over the last year. I would be honest, if I'm honest, but it's tough because it's draining sometimes having to talk about such serious things on a regular basis. But because of this audience, because of my teammates on the show, because of the sponsors and partners who continue to back us and believe in what we're doing, I'm hungrier than ever to keep going and put it out there. As I say, my place in this is not to take sides. It's not to be for one against the other. As I say all the time, I am an equal opportunity offender. I mean that. I'm not interested in choosing one side because of their politics. I'm interested in what I believe is in the best interest of our audience, Bermudians, and Bermuda overall. And through this show, I feel like we provide solutions. People say all the time, "Oh, are you listening to the host or listening to the Daily Hour?" I'm not taking credit for that. What I would say is we have the same ideas. They just have to execute them. They have the political power. Beyond that, I love the conversations like today. I'm grateful for the medical and wellness aspect of what this show provides. We keep talking about healthcare and how much it costs to go see a doctor. This show is giving you options to find out things without cost. We're bringing people who are professionals and experts and have experience and success in their fields onto this show to engage directly with you so that you can get answers to many of the things that you have. You don't have to go on a news website and be in the comments and argue and read stuff when you can come here and engage directly with the people who those stories are about. So I am grateful for that, and I don't take it for granted. So as far as Dr. Katherine Dale and the stress is serious. And I think, all jokes aside, there's something about everyone in our lives that stresses us. Let's just be honest. Even the person you love most, something. Dealing and learning how to deal with that stress, knowing how to deal with it, that's what's has to happen. We have to find ways because we can't eliminate everyone and everything out of our lives. Yeah. Even the job, if you love your job and what you do, there's going to be something stressful. But we have to figure out how to manage that stress. And I'm grateful that North Shore Medical has some solutions. And folks, check them out. If there's something stressing you, you don't know what it can lead to. Like we said, it can lead to a lot. Check it out. All right, let's do this giveaway, Sherry, and then got daily inspiration. Let them go. We've gone long. All right, let's see who's got it today. Let's hit it. Let's go. Boom. Where's drum roll? Okay, here we go. Big money. Who's it gonna be? Good luck, everybody. Shanna Butterfield, congratulations. You get yourself a treatment at North Shore Medical. Shanna, please send us an email at engage@thedailyhour.com and we'll forward your information on to North Shore Medical to collect your prize. Congratulations to Shanna. Everyone, give Shanna some love. Sherry, you've got some daily inspiration for us before we head out?
I do. Today's daily inspiration is being brought to you by ER Fisheries. Work hard in silence and let your success be the noise. And that's from Frank Ocean.
I haven't. Does he still sing?
I don't think as much. But he might be like underground at this point.
Okay. Yeah, haven't heard from him in a while, but good quote. All right, folks, don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you on Monday. She's Sherry Vanderpool. I'm Jamel Hartman. Please do make it a safe and a great weekend. Happy 700 to all of you.